You know, growing up in the West, we were always told that the United States was the leader of the free world, the land of opportunity, the center of innovation, democracy, and global influence. But something is changing, and it's not subtle anymore. There's a new force on the global stage. It's ancient, yet young. It's chaotic, yet deeply focused. It's not asking for a seat at the table, it's building its own table. That force is India. And while much of the world still sees India through outdated stereotypes, those paying attention, those truly watching, can feel it. India isn't just rising, India is awakening. And for many in the West, especially in the United States, that's a little uncomfortable. Because India isn't rising on borrowed money, borrowed values, or borrowed systems. India is rising on its own terms. And that makes it harder to influence, harder to control, and impossible to ignore. Now, let's be honest. On paper, the US and India are strategic partners. Allies in trade, allies in defense, allies in values like democracy, entrepreneurship, and global cooperation. But beneath that partnership lies a quieter truth, one not often discussed publicly. And it's this: a truly powerful, independent India, one that doesn't rely on Western validation or systems, is something the United States never fully planned for. And in some corners, it's even feared. Let me explain why. For over a century, the US has dominated the global narrative. It has led in technology, defense, finance, media, even culture. It's been the default superpower. Not just by military might, but through infrastructure, influence, and ideology. And most of the world either followed, aligned, or relied on it. But India? India is not playing that game. India didn't just import Silicon Valley. It built its own. It didn't just admire NASA, it built ISRO and landed a mission on the moon's south pole. It didn't wait for digital banking to reach its core. It created UPI, a real-time payment system that's light years ahead of what most Americans use. Seriously, UPI in India is so advanced and seamless that people in the West are starting to ask, wait, why don't we have this? India isn't following the American dream. It's designing something even more ambitious. It's engineering a civilization-scale transformation that's rooted in its own heritage, its own identity, and its own vision of the future. And here's where the tension begins. You see, when a developing country starts to develop using Western systems, it's easy to support. It's predictable, manageable. But when that country begins to build systems better than the West, and does it without dependence, that shakes things up. The United States didn't expect India to become a tech powerhouse in just 2 decades, or to develop a digital public infrastructure that serves 1 billion people daily, or to rise in defense manufacturing, diplomacy, quantum computing, and space. All at the same time. And when India refused to pick a side in the Russia-Ukraine war, that sent another signal. India isn't here to be told who its friends should be. It's not choosing sides. It's choosing sovereignty. And let me tell you, sovereignty at that scale scares traditional power structures. Because India is no longer the quiet, developing country of the global South. It's leading the global South. It's hosting G20 summits. It's building bridges between the East and West, the North and South. And it's doing all this while still being deeply Indian. From its ancient culture to its spiritual philosophies to its democratic resilience, India is not trying to be America 2.0. It's trying to be India 2.0. And that's beautiful. But also, a little unsettling for the old powers. Now let's talk about economics. India has become the 5th largest economy in the world, overtaking the UK, yes, the very nation that once ruled it. Soon, it's expected to pass Japan and Germany too. But it's not just about GDP. It's about where that growth is coming from. It's coming from innovation, from grassroots entrepreneurship, from small towns going digital, from millions of young Indians coding, creating, and competing on the world stage. The average age in India is just 28. In the US, it's 38. In Japan, it's 48. That means India's youth is just getting started. This isn't a one-time surge. This is generational momentum. And this next generation? They're proud. They're global. They're confident. And they are deeply rooted in their Indian identity. They're not looking to go west anymore. They're building from within. For the first time, brain drain is turning into brain gain. India is reclaiming its voice, its story, and its destiny. And people around the world, especially those in Washington, are starting to realize you can't outsource India's future. You can't dictate it. You can't even fully predict it. You can only respect it or fall behind. Even in culture and media, the tide is turning. For decades, Western media defined the global narrative, often portraying India through a limited, sometimes condescending lens: slums, overpopulation, chaos. But that story is collapsing. Now you have Indian creators, journalists, influencers, and entrepreneurs reaching global audiences on their own platforms, telling their own stories, driving their own discussions. The West is used to exporting its voice, but now it's importing India's. And here's the thing that makes this so powerful. India doesn't want to dominate anyone. It doesn't want to colonize thought or culture. It just wants to be heard, to be respected, to be free to walk its own path. So yes, the US wants India as a friend, but it's a little uncomfortable with a friend who doesn't ask for help, who doesn't need permission, who sometimes says no, because power prefers obedience. And India? India prefers independence. This is not about anti-Americanism. Far from it. The US and India can and should be close partners. But that partnership must be based on equality, not expectation. On mutual respect, not silent control. And for that to happen, the West, especially the US, has to unlearn the old playbook. It has to stop seeing India as a junior partner, or a counterweight to China, or a market to be tapped. It has to start seeing India for what it truly is, one of the world's oldest civilizations, now rising as one of its newest superpowers. So, to my Indian listeners, let me say this, as an American who's watching closely. Your rise is real. Your power is earned. And your time is now. You've come through centuries of invasion, colonization, division, and doubt. And yet, here you are, confident, curious, capable, and united like never before. India doesn't need validation from the West anymore. India is the validation. To every young Indian who dreams big, keep going. To every innovator who builds locally, keep building. To every citizen who chooses truth, growth, and unity, keep believing. Because when India rises, it doesn't rise alone. It lifts the world with it. And in that light, even from across the ocean, we can all feel the warmth,